Well, I mean, first of all, thank you for taking the time out of your day to hop on a call with me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
So you are one of the original Wing Chun YouTubers. I think the first Wing Chun video I ever saw was either by you or Jin Young, the China boxer.
Yeah, I think Master Wong, Jin Young, I think those are the two who really started off YouTube. And then I was like, I got to put my opinion out there. But definitely, I know Master Wong. I got to give him credit because I've talked to him. I had a Skype phone conversation with him like 7 years ago.
Nice.
And that guy's a class act. And let me tell you something. I don't care who says what. He may be very entertaining online, but he absolutely knows Wing Chun. He knows real Wing Chun. And the conversation we had, I was extremely impressed with him. And then Jin Young, I've known him throughout the years, and he came out. He was out here in Chicago, and him and I met up, and we trained privately for a little bit, and then he came out and did a seminar. He's just a great guy. I got nothing but good stuff to say about Jin.
Yeah, I remember you guys did a collab together, which was a great video. A lot of value in that one.
Yeah.
So I think now you have the second biggest channel behind Master Wong with over 100,000 subscribers.
Yeah, Mr. Wong's at like 2 million or 3 million. And specifically speaking, I mean, I've got we were at a max 120,000 subscribers, but then I started doing more political stuff on YouTube, and then that took a toll on my numbers, and it just is what it is. But I stopped teaching Wing Chun for a while, and I'm just slowly feeling the ache to get back into it.
Yeah, that was the first thing I wanted to ask you. So you built up a very large following doing Wing Chun videos, and then took a hiatus for a while, and now you're starting to post again. So my first question was, what caused you to initially stop making videos, and what's giving you the itch again to start posting as well?
Am I allowed to be candid and use proper language?
Yeah, go ahead. It's free expression.
The Wing Chun community is fucked. Martial arts community is fucked, and they're all a bunch of just big babies, and they're all butthurt, and everybody just is. I got tired of a couple different things. I got tired of the argument, obviously, whose martial art is authentic and whose martial art is best, and then the critics of, well, I don't see any sparring on your channel. To date, I'm gonna tell you flat out, I'm the only guy on a channel who has welcomed in other martial artists from other styles. And I never, and you can ask anybody who's ever trained with me, we never script anything. Everything is a first cut take, and I never edit anything. And I have these guys come in, and we do light exchanges. And if I took a punch in the face, I left it up online. And you'd get people, I saw your Wing Chun versus boxer, and the boxer came in and he punched you in the face. What do you think a boxer is going to do? What do you think is going to happen in a fight? And then it's like when the Danny Horgan video came out, and Danny's this great guy who is promoting Wing Chun, and he did Wing Chun Blast, and he comes out, and Danny's, I think he's over 6'2", and oh my God, Danny was manhandling you, and he's an amateur. I'm 5'7", he's 6'2", and the Chi Sao that we did it's an abortion of Chi Sao, because Danny's not at the time wasn't properly trained. And I'm not saying properly, I'm saying like traditionally trained. So you're trying to fit a square peg in a round hole, and of course I'm going to get hit. And it just showed me that 90% of people who practice Wing Chun have no clue what they're talking about when it comes to fighting. So I got tired of the whole, we don't see any sparring on your channel. I got tired of the whole, the constant, well, Bruce Lee would beat Mike Tyson in a fight on the forums. If you go to the Wing Chun forum on any, like Facebook, it's the same questions and the same kind of debates for years. And I got so tired of it. I need a break. I mean, I've been training Wing Chun since 98. And I just need to take a time out.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I definitely feel like of all the martial arts communities, the Wing Chun one is one of the most divisive and toxic.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very verbal about my not liking of certain lineages. I post content about it. I don't like William Chung's lineage. I don't like the fact that he says he's got traditional, Wing Chun. He's got a copyright, or anybody who says they've got authentic Wing Chun. I couldn't stand a group from Alabama the White Rose Wing Chun, who their teacher there, God, he was such a fucking little girl who would threaten me. And then if I commented back, he would tell his students who called me and verified years later, hey, we heard that you invited our teacher up to train, but then you got an order of protection on him. And I would go, if you want to prove that's true, just pull my name to the county and see if an order of protection comes up, because they didn't. So I can't stand the big babies that they are there. And that's just the shit that that bothered me. It's we're all training to fight. And but the problem is that most people, they have no number one, they have no knowledge, and the safety of the internet has made it so that nobody wants to put their money where their mouth is anymore without getting punched in the face, and they're all afraid to.
Yeah, that's the thing that I noticed. Like even doing like Muay Thai for a bit, if you train with other schools, like they're all welcoming and like want to learn from each other. Whereas like Wing Chun is like always talking smack about each other and saying, "Oh, this is wrong, that's wrong," and it's like it's harder to find a common ground with the Wing Chun guys.
Right. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
But everybody's a big baby, and they it's just I had to take a walk away. I had to walk away because of what was my problem was that it was pissing me off so bad that I wanted to fight everybody. And that's the problem, is I want to just prove it. It's like, come on, just touch. I am not afraid to take a hit. And that's the biggest problem with me is, you want to have this contest, let's do it. And especially for my profession at the time, it wasn't really good because I was a police officer and can't really go and fight everybody as much as I want to.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, I guess on a positive note now, you are back posting Wing Chun videos. So can you talk about what has given you the itch and the motivation to start posting again?
Yeah, it was the Ip Man movie, the last one that came out, that kind of did. Because once again, it's you got the movie side of Wing Chun, and everybody thinks that this is you're going to go out and be able to throw a bong so out there, and that's what got me the itch of it again. Is the biggest part too is when you take a step back and you stop training and you process things, you're no longer up front and it's no longer in your face all the time. So it's now marinating in the back of your mind constantly, and you see things differently. So if anybody, I recommend anybody, when you take a training, like the analogy I give people is in law enforcement, when you do patrol and you're a patrol officer and you wear the uniform and you're a first responder and you do that for years, get to a position like a detective, you're off the street and you're doing different things, and patrol is no longer like your primary thing. It's something that you're still a part of, but you're not doing it. Then when you go back to patrol, it's the easiest thing in the world because it's been marinating and you've been doing other things that are parallel to it, but not same with that. So when I started thinking about Wing Chun again, I'm like, oh, this is different. This is blah, blah, blah. And I started thinking about different ways I could present it, especially because my method of presenting it and teaching it for so long was shouting at the camera and saying, no, this is you guys are doing this, you're not seeing this, or this is wrong, blah, blah, blah. It's not the proper way to get the message across anymore, because that was just simply just fueling that debate fire, and I was getting caught up in the mosh pit, and I was getting tired of it.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
So definitely the Ip Man movie started me going, okay, I got to get back out there because I do miss this. I do love, like anybody else, I love Chi Sao. I love the drills that we had in Wing Chun that made you look like you do movie Wing Chun. I love that kind of stuff. So there's always two sides. There's the art of it, and then there's the martial of it, and I miss both of them. So, and the movie kind of sparked it up again.
Yeah, that makes sense. And going back to your work experience, I think that's one of the reasons that people value your advice so much and why you were able to grow a big channel, is because you have that constant experience of like putting your training on this, like in practice on the street. So I was curious, like in your experience, what do you think are some of the things that were most beneficial and applicable within Wing Chun, and maybe what are some things that you don't agree with as much?
I'm sorry, say that again. Kind of broke up a little bit.
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest or most valuable parts of your channel is that you have constant experience of like applying your training on the street through your work experience. So what are some of the things within Wing Chun you found most applicable and beneficial to the street, and what are some things maybe you don't agree with as much?
Everything. I think Wing Chun is there's nothing that isn't applicable. And I've said this a million times. You know, if you took grapplers and then put them into Wing Chun, they would see tremendous more value than taking Wing Chun guys who go to grappling. Because usually what happens is that a Wing Chun guy will learn for years, and it does take a very considerable time. There's not one skill in any job on the planet where you go in and you know it in 6 months. You need 5 years. And I mean, it's anything. It's being a fry cook at some restaurant to being a surgeon. So you cannot do it in 6 months. And you get Wing Chun guys who they stand in place throwing air punches for God knows how long, and then I'm gonna go learn grappling right away, or boxing, and I'll explain why boxing parallels a little bit. And they get immediate results right away. The difference is you know, when you start in a ground for grappling, wrestling, or jiu-jitsu, you're immediately being put in the context of applicable actions. You know, you're on the ground, you're in close proximity, you're learning, you know, body position, all that kind of stuff immediately, body awareness. And in Wing Chun, you know, we teach, what do we teach? We teach structure, we teach punching power, we teach, you know, proper elbow distance, and they're getting mechanics. They're not getting application because they got to learn the tools first. You know, Wing Chun, we'll take a hammer and we'll sit down with you for 6 months and teach you the head of the hammer, you know, the other side of the hammer that pulls the nails out, and we'll diagram the proper length of the wooden handle, and then the balance ratio between the head and why the handle is the way it is. And in boxing, because you're gloved up, or in ground fighting, they give you the hammer and they tell you how to hit, and then they correct, you know, this is how you should hit it, this is how you should hold it. So they tell you as you go, and that's the problem. And I keep saying, it's like if Wing Chun guys would just be more patient, you know, they would see that every single thing they're looking for is in the system. Everything. You know, there's no hook punches in Wing Chun. Yes, there are. There's no ground application in Wing Chun. Yes, there is. And that's because I came from a very, very, very lengthy wrestling background. That I guess one of my biggest advantages was Wing Chun wasn't my first martial art. You know, getting in there and getting dirty and wrestling for years, and then doing a little bit of boxing. I had all that. Then coming in, go to Wing Chun. You know, I loved it. I ate it up. I just loved the art. So I think anybody coming from different martial art first going into Wing Chun definitely sees value, and they can assess it. But Wing Chun should never be your first martial art. If it is, dedicate yourself to it 100%. And this would be my suggestion. If you truly want to make Wing Chun work 100%, and if you want to see there is value in everything, then you have to marry Wing Chun. You have to embrace that it is going to be your end-all, be-all. You have to explore other martial arts out there while keeping in mind, how does my Wing Chun either fit in this, destroy it, or benefit from it? You have to take what you learn from other arts and go back to Wing Chun. I'm not saying do the Bruce Lee, adopt a boxing stance. And, you'll find Wing Chun will strengthen your other arts, or it will destroy your other arts. But you have to be willing enough to really take the time to explore it.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So I guess what's the plan now with the channel? Like, are you focused on continuing to put out content, or is this kind of playing it by ear, seeing where it goes?
I'm starting to do this more like a vlog now, where instead of lessons for now, that I'm doing what I feel in the moment. And the other day I'm smoking a cigar, and people are like, what is with all the car videos now? You know, talking about Wing Chun in the car. Well, I think that's more powerful right now. I've done the Tan Sao videos. I've done the Bong Sao videos. I've done, the Chi Sao videos. Now, if I could sit there and if I can talk, and you can listen to what I'm saying and process it as I'm talking for now, it has more value. Like the other day I talked about how your chest muscle, your back muscle, what's the relationship when you move your elbow forward or your elbow backwards, you feel that, what is what. And if I'm talking about that, the listener has to process that through their head. If I demo it, yeah, that's one thing, but I've done the demo. And hang on one second. It's just, I'm not ready to return to that just yet. And if I do, it's got to be a lot different. And I will say this, there's things I want to do. And I don't want to do the typical Chi-Sao videos anymore. I don't want to do the typical, this is a Tan-Sao. The videos I got to come back are, they're going to be more aggressive and they got to be a lot more violent. And just really, because it's time. It's time to sit there and stop being so nice about Wing Chun. There's one guy that I spoke to a couple of years ago, and he's a student of Dave Meadows. And Dave Meadows has, from what I've been able to see, he's got very limited videos online. Dave Meadows taught in the South, and he was, I think, either active law enforcement or firefighter. And he trained under Duncan Leung before Leung changed over his Wing Chun to applied Wing Chun. And everybody thinks that they have the Dave Meadows lineage. And one guy does, Doc Savage, who is just a brutal Wing Chun man. And a couple of those students who they don't do the whole YouTube stuff. They don't get involved in the drama. You go down by them, it's going to be a world of hurt if you challenge them. And I've talked to a couple of them, and I agree. It's like I had to find, how do I continue to do online stuff, but also agree with their mindset, which is, well, you want to see this shit, you're going to see it, and you're going to see it in reality, and it's going to be very painful. So that's the plan of what's been coming back.
Yeah, sounds awesome. Looking forward to seeing some of those put up. What would be your thoughts now on the current landscape of Wing Chun? Do you feel like it's gotten better or worse since your hiatus? Like, what's your outlook on the current state?
I think it's lost, and I think everybody wants to be the next grandmaster. I trained under Sam Kwok's lineage for a while, and Sam Kwok, Kwok's, he's got his own lineage, and I liked it, and I benefited from training under, his teaching and whatnot. But he's look at him, as soon as that grandmaster came out, when he starts dressing like him and this and that kind of stuff, which is, it's what you do. I mean, it's marketing, and why wouldn't you do it? He's smart, but I mean, it's just everybody, and then William Chung, and I've got the traditional, and everybody wants to write out Bruce Lee's dick still. So I want no part of them. I really don't. And to be honest, there's a very, very small number of Wing Chun people that I talk to, and I always promote them, and I always forget a couple of them. But the guys I talk to are very, very, very. It's a very tight circle, and I really don't care about anybody else, to be honest.
Yeah, I hear you. Thank you again for taking the time to hop on a call with me. Like I said, I want to
sure.
respectful of your time. But so people can find you on Instagram at Dominick Izzo, and your YouTube channel is Dominick Izzo.
They can go to izzo.us. Yeah, they can go to izzo.us, and there's a link to everything there. Dominick Izzo on YouTube, Dominick Izzo on Instagram, Dominick Izzo on Facebook. And listen, the thing is I've always been outspoken with the other guys, who are Wing Chun. I don't care for it. And it's not meant to be disrespectful. It's just, I don't want to be lumped in a category with the Wing Chun community. I love Wing Chun. It's the art that I chose. And I don't, I don't want to be associated with a bunch of people whose underwear is all up in the bundle about who's going to write shit. In the face and said, "Oh, was that a Wing Chun punch or was that a Taekwondo punch?" And until they get that, we're all going to be fucking lost.
Yeah, no, I hear you. But I will.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Well, perfect. Thank you.
All right, thank you. You're welcome.
Talk soon. Take care. Bye.